you playing?
Hello, and welcome to What the Bleep Are You Playing? A podcast where we play a game many times bad and tell you why the bleep we played it. I'm Monster Sean. This is Screamin' Thomas. And if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a mason. And we played... Monsters, Inc. Scream Arena.
Yeah, this is a game.
Yeah.
This is one of the games.
So, I think a great way to
Scream.
start... I've already told Thomas the story about it. Mason hasn't heard the story. So, how did I come
story
across
time.
this game as a youth?
Story time with Sean.
So, Monsters, Inc. had come out, and my brother had asked for it for Christmas. He wanted the DVD copy of Monsters, Inc. He wanted to be able to watch it. Makes sense.
As you do.
And my grandparents were going to get it for him. And instead of, like, calling my parents and being like, hey, what is he wants the DVD or whatever, because, you know, DVDs were new and all these things, they called my my aunt and uncle and were like, what video game system does he have? And so on Christmas Day, my brother opened up Monsters, Inc. Scream Arena instead of the movie.
Wow.
And that is how we played Monsters, Inc. Scream Arena.
Man, even if they got him the movie, he wouldn't have been able to watch it if he had a Gamecube.
It was great there.
We got you Monsters, Inc. for the GameCube. You mean the game? No. How?
You know,
there are scenes in this.
To be completely fair to... You said it was your parents, right?
Grandparents.
To be completely fair to your grandparents, and you know what? We'll give them even more grace because they're grandparents. The case for this game legitimately just looks like a poster for Monsters, Inc. with a red rubber ball slapped in Sully's hand that says Scream Arena.
It is the exact same
Yes.
cover as the DVD.
It's the exact same cover. It's literally photoshopped in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it.
It is the laziest box art I've ever seen.
It's up there. It's not quite the laziest because, you know, Sega Master System box arts exist.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
but it is up there.
It is, yeah.
But the game itself is...
I think an interesting take on taking a license and doing something with it. We'll talk about whether it's good or not in a little bit, but I do think it's an interesting idea to go and say, we're not going to try to make some bad platformer in a factory, which is what you would kind of expect what it's going to be.
Which is what they already did earlier.
We're gonna make a party game, and honestly, there aren't very many dodgeball games out there, so
Not any most of the time it's like a mode in a game.
Yeah.
I think of like what's the Mario game with all the sports in it?
Sports Mix?
Is that what it is? Is
I
it
think
Sports
so.
Mix? Yeah, Sports Mix. Where dodgeball was just one of the games out of like
yeah,
four.
and
The only dodgeball game I can think of, and it's very recent, is Dodgeball Academia, which is a RPG, but instead of turn-based battles, you play dodgeball.
That sounds
That
amazing.
That game's actually fire. Play that game.
That
It's
sounds
the
good.
max.
See, game developers. This is how you make me play an RPG. Is if you frame it with
Frame it
dodgeball.
with dodgeball.
I will play the next Final Fantasy if it's a dodgeball game.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 17. It takes place entirely in a high school gymnasium.
I will play that
Persona.
game. That'll be the first Final Fantasy game I ever play. Is Final Fantasy Dodgeball.
Yeah, Persona. You're exactly right.
So
Persona Dodgeball.
this game, interesting, came out in 2002, September of 2002.
No, that's the year after the movie came out because the movie was 01.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It was
so
over.
it was on there. It was made by Radical Studios.
Radical Entertainment.
Radical Entertainment, yeah, and published by THQ.
Who, if that name sounds familiar, because I didn't know who published this, so when their name popped up, I was like, what the fuck? Because they have done Prototype 2, The Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction, Simpsons Road Rage, Simpsons Hit and Run, and just a shit ton of other things.
They are quite a studio that's done a lot, so like...
Is it fair to say the Simpsons games are probably the best ones they made?
Hit and Run and Prototype.
So
Hit and Run.
I've never played Prototype.
Prototype and Ultimate Destruction go really hard, dude. Yeah, Ultimate Destruction goes really hard.
Interesting.
And by the way, an interesting thing about Radical Entertainment, just to talk about it, they would actually be acquired in 2005 to 2008 by Vivendi Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So, which means that they then went on to work on Crash Tag Team Racing and Crash of the Titans.
Yep.
Oh.
Because one of the last games I worked on was Mind Over Mutant.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And then they, of course, Activision would buy them in 2008.
And shut them down.
Yeah, because that's what big studios do. We go and listen to our Lord of the Rings Conquest episode if you want to hear us get on our soapbox about that.
Our
soapbox.
soapbox. Was that ours? Was that planned? I don't think it was.
We're gonna accept it. It is ours. But like, do you know the amount of canceled games they have?
Yeah, they had quite a few.
So many.
Really?
They had a couple older games. A game called AI the Circuit, or AI Gladiator was what it's going to be called on the Xbox.
It was a robot dodgeball game.
Scarface: The World Is Yours on the 360.
Yeah, because they did Scarface: The World Is Yours, the rest of them, but there was a
canceled 360 game. The Simpsons Hit and Run 2 was obviously canceled after the Vivendi purchase.
They've been talking about bringing that back for a long time now.
Scarface 2.
What? The scarring?
They had a Crash Bandicoot game that was canceled. It was either going to be titled I Am Crash Bandicoot or Crash 2010 or Crash Landed.
I think it was Crash Landed.
Any of those were the potential names they were working through at the time.
Those are all kind of bad.
Spider-Man 4.
I'm sorry, what?
They were going to do... Because remember, Spider-Man 4 was going to be a movie.
That was going to be a movie. I didn't realize they had gotten so far as to get, like, the video game license.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Out.
There's footage out there of it.
They were working on it.
No way. I gotta find... I know they had...
And, of course, Prototype 3.
I know they had the wings, the vulture wing set already pretty much built.
Yeah, no, odd tangent for this. No, there is actual gameplay footage of the canceled Spider-Man 4 game. And it's fitting that Radical Entertainment did it because I play Spider-Man 2018 and I'm running up buildings and everything. I'm like, that's Prototype.
Yeah, so
Because Prototype is essentially... Prototype's kind of a Venom game, to be honest.
It is, actually. It's probably the closest we've gotten to a Venom game.
Yeah, unless you count the sections in Ultimate Spider-Man, which I don't, because that's not full Venom.
But...
Well, it's close anyway.
The studio definitely liked to take license and do different things with the license. Like, Hit and Run, obviously, is very different. Hulk Ultimate Smash is...
Yeah, Hulk Ultimate Destruction is
Ultimate Destruction, yeah.
Ultimate Destruction is a sandbox game where you can literally...
What?
It's a sandbox game where you can run around as the Hulk, you can take a tank and use it like a fucking baseball bat. Ultimate Destruction rules.
They also made games for licenses of their first early games for Rocky and Bullwinkle, The Terminator, both on NES. They did the Mario is Missing and Mario's Time Machine games back on the Super Nintendo.
We're trying to establish their credibility.
Wayne's World. They did a Beavis and Butthead game for the Genesis, a Speed Racer game, a bunch of different hockey games. They did the Brett Hull hockey franchise.
They did some NBA games.
Independence Day. And they did NHL a lot. Like, I played Power Play 98, so that's a game I did play. They did an X Games game, an MTV Sports game that was a snowboarding game, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster on the PlayStation, Tetris, James Cameron's Dark Angel, CSI, the CSI game, the 03 Hulk, a couple other CSI games, and then obviously they worked on Crash games, and their final game they ever worked on was they were support for Bungie on Destiny.
Wow. So they've done a lot of licensed stuff, which means it's no small wonder that they've worked with THQ before a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because THQ in their prime was a licensed video game machine.
Yeah, they just pumped them out,
especially through the 2000s and the 2010s too, I think.
Yes.
Not as much, their reign in that territory did extend.
No, you are correct, yes.
Which is really interesting for this game in that you have THQ who just grabs licenses and tries to pump them out, and a studio that, for the most part, tries to make interesting games off of license.
And that's how you get Scream Arena.
And that's how you get Scream Arena. Unfortunately, we'll get to the big butt of this game. If you're playing by yourself, this game is not good.
If you're wondering why we spend so much time on the developer, it's
because there's very little game in this game.
It's exactly what it is. It's dodgeball. It's dodgeball with the Monsters Inc. characters, but that's kind of all it is.
I brought it up while we were playing it, that this game really feels like Radical was like, hey, we got a bunch of these Monsters Inc. Character models. What do we do with them? And some guy did a line of coke on the table and went, dodgeball!
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, yes.
The one players are really not good. Like, I mean, I say not good. I mean, it's either easy, too easy, or it's just boring.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I did not play the single player personally, but the multiplayer was fun. But that is exclusively because I am doing something with my buds.
Yeah.
I could be building a Lego set and probably get the same amount. But it's something to do with my hands, and that's not an insult. It is a fun thing to do with your hands because you're just throwing these rubber balls at Mike Wazowski's face. That's funny.
The characters do have they do have some fun little life to them, especially in it. It's fun in a group setting to laugh and be like, this silly game, we're having fun. Thomas broke the game at one point by figuring out we could not play the keep away mode anymore because Thomas broke it.
Yeah, if you're for some reason a hardcore Monsters Inc. collector and you want Scream Arena, here's how you win the keep away games. You just keep going in the doors.
So yeah, the
over and over.
The doors on the side of at least two of the maps.
Every map,
every map have the doors.
I think it's every
two
map.
doors on both sides like teleport through each other. Like kind of think like Pac-Man, like the tunnels on the side in Pac-Man. The two doors on the side, you teleport through them. So if you're playing keep away and you have the ball, you just go in between them and you cheeses the game.
Yeah,
so much. Like if you're what was the joke that you said about like
it was like you got some fondue because you cheesed the game.
Yeah, trying to make a fondue. Here's a lot of cheese.
I mean, it was like I actually like that. I think that's actually a good use of the Monsters Inc. license is using the doors as teleporters.
Yeah.
Because
just in that game mode, we broke it.
That's kind of what they used him for at the end of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Where
God, that sequence is so good.
There is also an element of
really
this
good.
game. It utilizes the Monsters Inc. license to the best of its ability. Like, you have all the characters, lots of characters. The voices are trying to mimic them, or just straight off rips from the movie. They have you have parts of the movie you can watch before every map if you want to. There are little gyms like the car doors open on the street and like they do, like it's little things are there. They utilize the license really well. That's not a fault of this game. I think there's just not much to this game. And it doesn't quite go to the shovelware like Eminem's Adventure is.
No. It's far from shovelware.
Because this actually it feels like it had effort.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to do something with the license. It's a baby game. That's what it's meant for, little kids.
Yes.
It's not meant to be like, oh, I'm really skilled at Monsters Inc. Scream Arena. I don't think we're going to be seeing the, professional teams playing Scream Arena going forward. But
I mean, there is professional dodgeball. Maybe this is how they train.
I'm kidding. But also, like, some of the...
It's like the Cleveland Browns of dodgeball who trained by playing the video game.
No, I was kidding. They obviously trained by playing Dodgeball Academia.
Yeah, best game ever.
They trained by watching dodgeball.
But yeah, this... Look-wise, everything around this game, you know it's Monsters, Inc. They do put a lot... I don't want to say a lot of effort, but they do put plenty of effort to make sure it feels like they're utilizing the license and not just like pasting a picture of something on it. It's not Dragon Ball Evolution where they're just throwing pictures here and there.
Where it's just a paint job.
Then again, let's put a stick on the ground and jump over and call ourselves special. That's a low bar.
Yeah, I mean, there is other stuff they possibly could have done, like maybe give them a roar attack or something, but also... One, I don't know how that would fit into dodgeball, except maybe to replace a tackle. And two, if you're tackling during dodgeball, you're taking it a bit too seriously, my guy. And three, I can't see how that would make that unique for every character.
Yeah.
So this is probably the best they could.
Really, the only uniqueness of the characters is kind of their hitboxes.
Yeah.
Nothing else really. Like, they don't have any special abilities for the characters. There are different different balls you can use that do different special things, but you can pick any character and play it about the same style.
Yeah, the only difference is, again, the hitboxes. Who was the slim guy?
What was his
Schmidt?
name? Yeah, Schmidt.
Okay, yeah. Fuck Schmidt. That motherfucker.
Yeah.
His long legs, long arms.
He's the odd job of this game.
Ironically, not Mike Wazowski.
Yeah.
Albeit it looked for a while at first when Mason played Mike, he was going to win big, and then we all teamed up against him.
You all ganged up on me like a bunch of assholes.
That's the Smash Brothers method, baby.
This game came out really close to Smash Bros, so there's actually a lot of similar.
Same year.
Same year. I think Smash Bros was a little earlier in the year, I believe.
Yeah, because Smash Brothers, that wasn't a launch title.
No, Smash Bros was not a launch title.
No, I didn't think so, man.
I can
Yeah,
quickly...
this is Smash Brothers Melee at home.
This
Can
is
we
Whole
have-
Foods Smash Brothers Melee.
It came out
No, this
about
is Dollar
just
General.
under a
Damn.
year, apart, because Smash Bros came out at the very end of 2001. This came out in 2002 in September, so about 9-month difference.
Okay.
So there may be a little bit of development that they're like, ooh, that game. What if we did some stock battles? Ooh, what if we had, break the targets?
That does happen for all of 4 seconds.
So pathetic.
It
is.
Break the targets is so pathetic. It's literally, you throw a ball 3 times and you break the targets.
That's it.
There's also
It's-
no,
So what it says on the 10.
you don't, set, computer level, how good, they're just always the same
They're
level.
always the same.
Which
Yeah.
isn't good.
And-
Again, which kind of says that, hey, this is for a baby game. We're not going to say that you can get better at it with
Yeah.
with computers.
It's a baby game. I think me and Sean were playing and won by 180 points at one point, and then Mason and Sean played and won by 235.
That did happen.
Yeah,
That did happen.
it is. It's not meant for high level skill. It's not meant for It's really not meant for our age group. It's meant for little kids,
It
and
is.
there is merit in that. There is merit for that, and I'm sure. I have fond memories of playing it with my brother and my sister. So it was a game that we played in kind of a group setting. So there is fun for that. Control wise, though, might be the most basic controls we've played of any game.
Yeah, they have all these abilities. Block with L and R, dodge with B. You can throw high with X or you can throw low with A. Literally, mostly, I just mashed A.
Mashed A, occasionally B to sprint around.
I was gonna say I occasionally press B to sprint around, but
Got that flash speed going on.
90% of it was 90% of my time playing this game was hitting the A button.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's just kind of. It's not bad controls. I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, these controls were bad. They're just really, really basic. They work.
No. Bad controls for me are when it's pissing me off to play. This didn't do that. This was just incredibly basic.
Yeah, again, everything in this is basic, and that's where it is. Controls were fine. Visuals were, for an early GameCube game, fine. I don't think they were abhorrent, but I also wouldn't call them, pushing the console in any way.
No. Right before Sean came in, I was actually playing another GameCube game. I was playing Freedom Fighters. And that game does look better, but to be fair, that game is an original IP from a bigger developer that doesn't have, to do licensed games.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, this was obviously someone who was rushed out, probably. So, with that in mind, the models look all right. They occasionally go wall-eyed, sully the poor bastard's dead inside, but overall they're solid. They're fine.
And think of it, this is in 2001 they did Dark Summit and Simpsons Road Rage. In 2002 they had Tetris World's Monster Inc. Scream Arena and James Cameron's Dark Angel. But you know what was coming out in 2003? Hit and Run.
Hit and Run.
And I can guarantee that's probably where a lot of their team was working at that point, and
Probably.
using what they did on Road Rage and building towards that. So this is probably the B or the C team.
Yeah.
Probably making this game, which is fine. For what we've played worse B or C team games probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
it's I give it a lot of points for an interesting concept and an interesting idea, and I do think it is a fun party game, but I can't imagine like this was something that people like sought out or went back to a lot. It was like, oh, why don't we break out this game,
Yeah, it's exactly what Sean said. It's a party game. In a week when Mason can drink, we'll come back here, have a few beers, and play it. But
exactly.
Otherwise, I can't see myself returning to it.
No, it's in one ear out the other.
Yeah, again, it's not a bad game.
No.
I feel like I'm shitting on this game a lot, and it's not like the worst thing I've ever played. But it's also like,
and it got shit on him at launch. My God, the reviews are bad.
Yeah, the reviews. I don't agree with some of them with how low, but it's be about where my score is.
Game Informer gave it a 5 out of 10, and that's probably where I would have reviewed it. Like that's pretty fair. But like IGN a 2.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
Metacritic's
keep in mind, that's
39 out of 100.
Keep in mind, that's IGN.
IGN, and albeit older IGN was less kind to some things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was not reviewed well, and I can see why. I do think there is some charm to it, but and we did not unlock all the levels or unlock all the characters. We didn't want to spend 4 or 5 hours going through the easy stuff to do all that, and there were no cheat codes in this game. Gosh.
Yeah.
But the characters we unlocked and what we had, I do like the roster. Like, I think it's a pretty solid roster. And then we had like 5 or 6 still to unlock. So like,
yeah,
it's a pretty deep Monsters Inc. roster.
Yeah, I feel like I made the joke earlier, but unironically, if you are huge Monsters Inc. fan, like collect memorabilia and shit like that, then yeah, this game will probably please you because you do have all of these characters. You have all of the characters on screen. You have all the things you can do with them, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And it does stay true to the movie in a lot of like being able to see the scenes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a story. Apparently, the back of the box told us there's a story to it.
Back of the box.
But the game inside of the game does not have much of a story.
I was gonna say
that's OG game stories, bitches.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
is there a summary in the manual?
You go
we didn't look in the manual. Maybe
there really wasn't. I did look at the manual.
Would have gone NES on that
really
shit.
Funny.
I opened up the manual to look at the controls, and then I was like, oh, them basic controls. Woo.
Let me look at the controls. It's just A. It's just a big A on the page.
Anything else that stick out from the game that you wanted to mention or talk about, guys? Boy, that tells you something about the game, though. That tells you something.
I think there were colors in it.
I appreciate. No, I'm trying. I'm really.
No, you're fine. You're fine. The like I said, my biggest thing to take away from it is I do think they put a lot of effort into at least trying to do something with the license.
No,
it's just where it was. Yeah,
it's a good game studio, so I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what I'll add. It could have been better if you could pull an Ultimate Destruction. Just take Mike Wazowski as Sully. Use him as a baseball bat to hit the dodgeballs back.
Yes. If there were team attacks or something like that, would be like, because there is team stuff. You can team up.
Yeah. I'm not saying like it had to be for every duo, but like Mike and Sully are a duo. So
yeah, you could have had some team attacks. That would have been actually kind of fun. I do think a Monsters Inc. wrestling game would work, actually.
What we need is just a Disney Pixar WWE game.
Yeah.
It's just Mike Wazowski and Sully are the tag team champions.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty fun. But I think for the concept they have, Monsters Inc. and Dodgeball, they probably did about the most you can do with that concept. Mm-hmm. Which isn't going to take you very far unless you are really wanting to try to make a truly competitive style game. Which I don't think
I can't imagine any, I don't think anybody working on this went in going, okay, we're gonna make a simulation sports type title out of it.
We're gonna make a Smash Bros. Like nobody else. What do you mean that name's already taken? What about a Smash Bros. Melee? What do you know? Well, has anyone taken Scream Arena? Nope. Cool. That's what we're doing.
That's it. There we go.
Monsters Inc. Brawl, baby. With realistic fur textures on Sully. Wait,
hold on. I'm just now realizing what part of the title Scream Arena has anything to do with dodgeball. Who would hear that and think
the
dodgeball?
arena that there's
Yeah, and trying to play off the screams of the.
I mean, because I'm going to be perfectly honest, when I heard Scream Arena, Sean said it was a dodgeball game, my first thought was like, did they make a fucking Monsters Inc. fighting game?
Yeah, it's a weird title. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like that either way out. Like it's fine for what it is, but like Scream Arena doesn't necessarily scream dodgeball.
Yeah.
I mean, the cover does, because Sully's clearly holding a dodgeball. Come on, it's obvious.
Holding, quote unquote. That shit's hovering in his hand.
On some of the style, when you bring up the characters, Mike Wazowski came up, and I was like, oh, look, Mike Wazowski.png.
Yep.
It's the game. It's a really weird thing, but as someone who's a digital media major, I kind of noticed it. The outlines on the characters seem really pixely.
Mm-hmm. I did notice some of that, and also just some of the colors were a little, like, they had weird darkness in some of the characters.
It's weird, because some colors were washed out and some were oddly dark. I think visual nitpicks doesn't really affect the thing of the game, but it does. Again, I don't want to shit on these developers. These are good developers.
Oh, yeah, they're great developers.
Good developers.
And, sometimes you make a quick... I can't imagine this was a long process game to make some extra money off of a license. No problem with that.
This pitch was maybe a 6-month project.
Yeah.
If that. That's
and look,
bare minimum.
They had the monsters doing Fortnite dances before Fortnite, so...
That's right.
Did that happen?
They had dances at the end of it. They're all dancing when you
all
celebrate
right,
all it.
that's right.
Take that, Fortnite. Scream Arena did it first.
Get James P. Sullivan in Fortnite with Mike Wazowski back playing.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Lord.
Oh, Scream Arena. But on this podcast, we ask 2 important questions of every game that we play. The first is, how does it hold up?
Get your bingo cards out, people, because I've said this one a lot. Good, because the exact same problems it has today are the same problems it had back then.
Yeah, I actually think some of the problems improve over time. Like, I think some of the goofy nature of it actually, like, at the time, you're like, well, I can just play Smash Bros. I can just do this or things at that time. But now you're like, yeah, some of these controls are, it's basic, but it's kind of fun in a party game sense that maybe it wasn't as much back then because of all the party games that came out.
Maybe.
I actually think there's an element of it. I don't think it's gotten worse over time. At bare minimum, it's the same.
No.
But I think there is an element of, I think it's actually held up pretty well, and because of kind of that fun factor. The one player, because it's babyish in terms of skill level, doesn't hold up particularly well and never will. But that party element to it, absolutely, I think has held up really well.
I don't know, man. It's like...
What do you want me to say?
I don't... It's like... I don't know. It's like looking at it like like a random street sign that you've seen like your whole life, and you're like, does that hold up for you? And it's like, I don't know, man. It's a street
yes,
sign.
the staple of Mason's life, Monsters Inc. Scream Arena.
Yeah, it's like it's like looking at a chair and being like, hey, don't you remember all your memories with that chair?
I
And
do
I'm just
usually,
like,
actually.
It's a chair. I don't know.
But
What
I don't really know what your
The only memory...
metaphor here is, but all right.
It's just like it's
The
nothing.
only memories I have with a chair is when I fell off a big pile of them at a church.
It's just a nothing. When it does it hold up? I don't know. Sure.
All right, Mason.
This may be the first one where it's like, does it hold? I don't fucking know.
Next question, please.
Pass.
Good news is
You
we do
can't
have
pass. You're one of the hosts.
we do have a next question. Would you like to see a remake or a reimagining of this game in a modern setting?
Emphasis on reimagining, maybe. I can't see like a ground up remake, but if they want to like revamp the shit out of this and give Monsters Inc. Dodgeball like a new coat of paint, like maybe turn it into a third-person shooter, just get it behind the back camera.
It
where you're
feels
just
like it could
nailing
easily. It
people.
would be a few away from being just like a Fortnite clone. Like it just.
There is a dodgeball Fortnite clone called Knockout City. So
Mhm. It feels like at that point. Remake, no. Reimagining, yeah. There, honestly, I know it's 23 years later, but I would take a sequel. Like I would take, someone taking this and trying to make it a little more not kiddie. A sequel, especially we have now Monsters University. We have the TV show.
Yeah, Monsters at Work or whatever.
So like we have extra characters as well. You can make a pretty good sized roster. But in the end, like I would like more Monsters Inc. game, but I'm not super going to be clamoring for Scream Arena 2 or a remake or whatever, but I also wouldn't hate it. Like I actually think that would be interesting, but I think like we've said in a lot of others, I would like to see more games in this universe. I would like to see more Monsters Inc. games, but I don't think I'm going to be clamoring for a remake or reimagining. I think if anything, I'd just take a straight up like sequel or a new Monsters Inc. dodgeball game.
Yeah, and we say a lot that like if this was dropped on PS and Xbox Game Pass, I'd play it. I don't think I would.
No, probably not. Like if you have a GameCube, you can break it out. But yeah, this is one that's like I don't think with the inevitable Switch 2 having GameCube on it, Scream Arena is probably not going to be the top of their prerogatives. I think of the GameCube games we played, TMNT is more likely to get on that than Monsters Inc. Scream Arena.
All right. Kingdom Hearts Dodgeball.
I mean, we have had Monsters Inc. and Kingdom Hearts 3, so
There you go.
With the second best scene in that game.
Yeetus Vanitas.
Yeetus Vanitas.
It is so good.
Sully just takes Vanitas and just chucks him through a door.
Picks
that
him,
door, chucks that through another door.
Takes that door and chucks it through another door. Takes it through and chucks another one, and then shreds the door.
It's just the second best scene in that game. After Woody telling Xehanort
Right.
that he's a cuck.
It says, I don't care what you're saying. No one loved you.
Wow.
That's exactly what he says.
What?
Fucking even in Kingdom Hearts, Woody is the best character.
Woody just being
because
like,
he just straight
I know.
goes, no one loved you, did you? Kill yourself, Xehanort.
The Pixar worlds are the best worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. But yeah, I would like to see more Monsters Inc. games. That's just it's a universe that I feel like could have a lot of fun, like party games. Like it could have there's an untapped potential there.
Older Pixar movies in general, I think, should get more modern video games. Like I'm
Oh,
not
Bugs
clamoring
Life
for-
would be awesome in another one.
Bugs Life would be good. For the love of God, give me another Toy Story game, or at the very least, remake Buzz Lightyear 2. Buzz Lightyear 2. Toy Story 2,
2.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue.
No, just call it Buzz Lightyear 2.
Where's the first one exactly?
Exactly.
Don't worry about it, kids.
The
Buzz
first one's the
Lightyear
movie.
2.
We made the sequel video game.
Exactly. Actually, I would play a Lightyear video game, like based on the movie.
Honestly, I would. Too.
Yeah, I absolutely would. Like,
Yeah.
They
Pixar
get
games.
They get like a third-person action game starring.
Pixar games were really cool back in the day, like the Toy Story games,
Yeah, the Toy Story game,
Bugs Life
Bugs
games, even the spoiler, we're going to be playing a Cars game in the future, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Even Wall-E had a pretty good platformer tie-in.
Yeah, like the
That's
Pixar,
right.
The Incredibles didn't have that. The Rise of the Underminer wasn't a great
Rise of the
game.
Underminer wasn't great, but their just the Incredibles GameCube game was pretty solid.
Was solid. Pixar games have kind of been actually pretty good as a whole. And so, like, yeah, revisit these sort of things. A whole Pixar universe party-type game, whether that's Dodgeball or something else like that, I would be down for something like that.
Yeah, give me a game where you give me a beat 'em up. You can play as Buzz Lightyear, James P. Zolvin, Carl Fredricksen, and Remy, and fight through fucking Riley's head from inside.
That's what I was saying. Like, imagine your Dodgeball, but you've got the guy, the chef in Ratatouille. Yeah, in Ratatouille, but he's got Remy in his head, like on his head. I don't want to do this. I can get behind it. There's some potential in this franchise. Yeah, there absolutely is if you did something, but. You know,
Yeah, all right.
am I expecting
Lightning
us to get
McQueen
some?
can be the special attack.
Ooh, oh, you like push a button
Okay,
and
now
like
then.
lightning
you
comes
push
in,
you push a button and he just runs over
spins
enemies.
it. Yes, okay, I'm fully on board. We need a huge crossover Pixar game. I would love to see
It's
it.
called Pixar Rush.
A better non-connect. Pixar
Yeah.
tie-in
Look,
game.
things that are not on the Kinect is always a plus. Always a plus.
So what I'm hearing is I should suggest Kinect games for Season 4.
Look,
Yeah.
look.
How about no?
Look, there will come a point when we want to play Star Wars or Dragon Ball Connect because those games
Will
are
there?
incredible.
Will there?
Look, I'm saying like season 37, you know.
He's 37.
When we're
when
the bottom
we're
of the
68 years old
We're
playing
like,
fucking Star
do we-
Wars Connect. Hit pops when we're doing the lightsaber.
Do we want to
motion.
play? It's like, do we really really want to play something on the PlayStation 12 now that the PlayStation 16 has come out? Or do we want to go back and play Xbox Connect games? You know the answer, America, or wherever else you are from listening from.
You know the answer, Belgium.
But that's Monsters Inc. Scream Arena. What do you guys think? Did you guys ever play this game?
Did you enjoy this chaos of an episode?
Do you like the idea of a Pixar game? What would be your Pixar pitch? Let us know. Send us an email to bleepyouplaying@gmail.com. That's bleepyouplaying@gmail.com. And wherever you're listening to this, whether that be Apple iTunes, Spotify, or wherever, leave us a 5-star review. We would really appreciate it. Help us grow. We want this season to be the biggest ever. So give us a little bit of help if you can. And we'll be back next time with something less dodgeball-y, but maybe as many screams? I don't know. We'll find out.
Disney.
Yeah, we'll find out. Next time. Burn it.